Good evening, everybody. I'm hoping that my voice bears up this evening. I've had this terrible lurgy that's been going around, so you can hear I'm somewhat croaky. My name is Michelle Thomson, and I'm the MP for Edinburgh West, and came down here as one of the kind of gang of marauding hordes from the north that we described ourselves as. So of course it's not news, is it, that Scotland, which I'd like to give a bit of a perspective about and let you understand my interest in this, has emerged from possibly the most engaged and engaging debate in its history and about its future. Now ostensibly the question on the ballot paper was about should Scotland be an independent country. But of course it wasn't. That wasn't what it was about. What it was about was the visioning that took place in every town and in every city about what future and what type of society we could take control of and help shape that for our future and for our children's future. A key tenet of that, of course, was the opportunity to discuss what we felt about defence. And in particular, to reaffirm Scotland's strong commitment to nuclear disarmament, a view that now is shared by 58 out of 59 Scottish MPs. That's 98% for those of you drawn from that time, and I'm quoting from something that you can still read on the Scottish Government website. Whilst the UK seeks an ability to project global power, an independent Scotland can choose a different approach. If in government, we will direct our international efforts first and foremost into deepening and consolidating relationships with friends and partners, new and old, across the world, and through this expanding opportunities for people and businesses in Scotland. Our bywords will be cooperation, development and trade. Our clear priorities will be commerce and partnership, not conflict. Scotland will be a champion for international justice and peace. Now, these words to me were absolutely pivotal. A champion for justice and peace. And I remember reading the white paper. People in pubs everywhere were talking, have you read the white paper? Where do you ever hear that? One of the things I picked up on that was that the role of Defence Minister wasn't to be called that. Now, I must be honest, I can't remember. I think it was Peace Minister. And by that simple turning around of words, it was sending out a message of how we shape our future. Now, of course, we know the outcome of our debate, and we've seen the political tsunami wrought at the last general election in Scotland, but we remain committed to do our best to give positive expression to Scotland's voice, and also to contribute and help shape some of that dialogue and that debate we had in Scotland across the whole UK. Now, I'm a newly elected MP, and I must be honest, in signing the EDM, it was the first time, like many things, I thought, I really need to consider how I feel about this. I mean, I knew I was against nuclear weapons, and I started to sense much, much more how much I was against this kind of zealotry that I see and feel in this place about celebrating death and destruction. And I can't get over the feeling of that. When did that get okay? When did that happen? So this idea is creative and it's adaptive and it's completely intrigued me. And of course the previous speakers, so much better versed than me, have elegantly articulated the arguments, both the origins and the passion that's encapsulated in the idea. But surely the UK, with its soft power, because that's where it is nowadays, can use its diplomatic and cultural influence to bring about positive change on how we view our role in the world and to promote new ways of building peace. And of course, the basis of the parliamentary bill, I understand it about principles and beliefs. But I find myself thinking about the very essence of democracy. And through our debate, I used to say, when did I sign up to this? I suddenly realised and started to challenge having never previously been involved in politics, things that just happened in my world. When did I sign up to this? And I find myself thinking, from a democratic perspective, when did I sign up to voting once every 5 years and then forgetting about everything with no further input to where I redirected my taxes? So the concept of hypothecation, we know it's early days, but there's so much more to do, because surely that is heightening and developing our sense of democracy, where our voices must be heard. And that was the other thing that I realised now, looking back, about what the debate we had in Scotland. Actually, this was about a leadership debate. This was about people coming forward and standing up, being counted and saying, well, this is what I believe, I've never believed it before. And I genuinely believe that if the UK cannot anymore dine out on what has been, it must dine out on what can be. And surely we must have a leadership role. You'll notice tonight, if I could just step out, I'm wearing my pink shoes today. And of course, my pink shoes, I was using a lady's pink pen earlier. You know, the sign for love. And in my journey, I've worked in business, I've been a professional musician, and one of the things I got quite involved in was around the kind of pop psychology, if you like, of neuro-linguistic programming. And I mean that people could take a view in that, but the concept around everything, our human emotions, can be distilled into two things, which is fear or love. And surely when we look at these smaller nations, or even medium-sized nations in the world, they are leading by example in terms of giving love, by challenging. And we human beings are special, that we can reach a higher level of consciousness about how we think about things and how we shape things. And I really think that the UK PLC needs to start to move forward and look at that. Now, one area I must gently rebut, though. The question is that it's anticipated that around 5,000 people would elect to redirect their taxes as a result of this bill. I can assure you, in Scotland, given 98% of 5.3 million, you will have a whole lot more, because many people. Honestly, the Quakers, I have a very good friend who's a Quaker, have led this. The bravery of conscientious objectors, particularly in the First World War. Mary Barber, who's a well-known provocateur in Glasgow, who organised rent strikes, who also had a role in this, is to be celebrated. But we can move forward with so many more people. And one thing I was going to mention, though, was that we have to recognise and think cleverly about the mechanics of how we evolve this process. We do know that some of the military assets are currently being used in peacekeeping, and we need to think cleverly about every single rebuttal and argument about how we get over that. And it's a massive gear change and shift. But I suppose to sum up is, wouldn't it be truly remarkable? Wouldn't it be a gift? Wouldn't it be an honour if the UK, how ironic, could shape a different way of thinking, shape a different consciousness in the world, and shape how we all move together as human beings? That's what I'd like to see.